The avoidant person's communication patterns reveal the intricate architecture of their psychological defenses. Their language serves as both shield and sword, carefully crafted to maintain emotional distance while preserving their sense of control. These verbal patterns emerge from years of conditioning that taught them vulnerability equals danger and emotional expression leads to abandonment. Their words become strategic tools designed to deflect intimacy, minimize emotional impact, and maintain their carefully constructed fortress of independence. They use intellectualization to avoid feelings. The avoidant person transforms every emotional conversation into an intellectual exercise, dissecting feelings as if they were scientific specimens rather than lived experiences. When confronted with emotional topics, they respond with analysis, theories, and logical frameworks that strip the humanity from human connection. They discuss relationships like business transactions, love like psychological phenomena, and hurt like abstract concepts that exist outside their personal experience. Their language becomes clinical and detached when emotions surface, using phrases that create distance between themselves and their feelings. They speak about emotions as external forces rather than internal experiences, treating their own emotional responses as curiosities to be studied rather than truths to be acknowledged. This intellectualization serves as emotional anesthesia, numbing the intensity of feelings that threaten their sense of safety and control. They minimize and dismiss emotional expressions. The avoidant person possesses an extensive vocabulary for diminishing the significance of emotional experiences, both their own and others. They use qualifying language that reduces the impact of feelings, describing intense emotions with lukewarm words and treating significant relationship issues as minor inconveniences. Their communication consistently downplays the importance of emotional connection, intimacy, and vulnerability. When others express deep emotions, the avoidant person responds with phrases that minimize the experience or redirect attention away from the emotional content. They treat tears as overreactions, passionate declarations as melodrama, and requests for emotional intimacy as unreasonable demands. This linguistic pattern reflects their internal belief system that emotions are weaknesses to be managed rather than experiences to be honored and shared. They speak in vague and non-committal terms, the avoidant person's language mirrors their emotional unavailability through deliberate ambiguity and non-committal phrasing. They avoid definitive statements about feelings, relationships, or future intentions, preferring language that maintains maximum flexibility and minimum accountability. Their words create emotional fog, leaving others uncertain about their true feelings, intentions, or level of investment in the relationship. Their communication patterns include excessive use of qualifying phrases, conditional statements, and escape clauses that allow them to retreat from any position they've taken. They speak about possibilities rather than certainties, maybes rather than definites, and general concepts rather than specific commitments. This linguistic evasiveness protects them from being held accountable for emotional promises or relationship expectations while keeping others in a state of perpetual uncertainty. They redirect conversations away from intimacy. The avoidant person demonstrates remarkable skill at steering conversations away from topics that might lead to emotional closeness or vulnerability. When discussions venture toward feelings, relationship dynamics, or personal struggles, they employ various deflection techniques that shift focus to safer territory. They change subjects abruptly, introduce unrelated topics, or find ways to turn attention toward external matters rather than internal experiences. Their conversation patterns reveal a subconscious radar that detects approaching emotional intimacy and automatically activates defense mechanisms. They become masters of surface-level discourse, capable of talking for hours without revealing anything meaningful about their inner world. This conversational dance allows them to maintain social connection while avoiding the emotional exposure they fear will lead to judgment, rejection, or loss of autonomy. The avoidant person's communication style ultimately reflects their core psychological strategy, maintaining connection while avoiding the vulnerability that genuine intimacy requires.